on, everybody? Welcome back to the Fansview podcast. I'm here at WrestleCade with none other than superfan turned superhero, Izzy Moreno.
Oh, I like that.
Right? You like that?
I might put that on a T-shirt. But hello,
you heard on video.
Yeah,
Give me a little cut. Just a little cut.
I don't know. Maybe I won't make the shirt.
First things first is, how are you doing?
I'm doing amazing. We're at WrestleCade. I feel my social battery has drained quickly, but I think we're gonna be rejuvenated in this interview. So I'm excited to do this. I feel like my voice is.
Mine too.
Yeah,
mine too. Yeah, this is gonna be terrible for you too, but
no, it's okay.
It's fine.
It adds to it. I like having
this is
no
raw
voice.
And real.
Yes,
That's
raw
what it is.
and real.
Authentic. Not terrible, just authentic.
Yep.
We're gonna go. We're just gonna go off the rails right from the start. 2024. You're in a wrestling ring.
Yeah.
With a bubble gun and Bluey. Can you tell me what in God's name was going on?
I honestly have no idea. I find myself having a lot of moments in pro wrestling where I'm like, I don't know what is happening. That was one of those moments. But I had a show. There's a place in San Antonio where I live. It's called the Wrestle Shop, and they run shows there. So they ran a special Izzy Mania show just for me, which I thought was like the nicest thing anybody can do for me. So I was like, wow, this is really cool. And I also found out the day of the show that it was all for me. So I was like, wow, I'm not expecting this. But I guess one of the things is like, I guess they have a guy there that has a Bluey costume, and I guess it's a big hit with the fans. Not really sure how that happened.
Okay.
And so they were like, oh, in addition, Bluey's going to be at the show. So I was the main event. I won with my tag team partner. And I don't know, they brought out Bluey. Or I was told to bring out Bluey, and I forgot where the bubble gun was. But I just had a moment. I needed that moment too. I was like, this is awesome. I was like, I like this.
Yeah, I remember opening up Instagram one morning. I'm like, oh, hey, there's Izzy. There's Bluey. And there's bubbles everywhere. Okay,
but
God bless
first off, I love
independent wrestling.
Yeah, that's indie wrestling for you.
Yes.
That's indie wrestling at its finest. But I love that picture because I sent it to like one of my closest friends, and he was like, "You look so happy in this picture," and I was like, "Thank you." But my caption was, and I don't know if you've ever heard of this, where it's like, "Do you ever just look at somebody and wonder what is going on in their head from inside out?"
Yes.
That's literally that picture.
Yes.
As that sounds.
So to kind of take it back, obviously people know that you were a super fan during the NXT Black and Gold era. Everybody's going to ask you this. Everybody wants to know, what's the relationship like these days with Bayley?
Yeah, so I don't. It's not like I have Bayley's number and I can call her. I definitely still support her. She always has like that special place in my heart where I can be like, she's still my favorite wrestler. And legitimately, like when I watch her, like I get really excited. Like, and even I remember, what was it, Mania? Like everybody thought she was gonna come out with like the inflatables and like old Bayley. And I'm not gonna lie, I was like silently praying that she would, because it's so nostalgic to me, because that's the Bayley I grew up with. But she's just so amazing in the ring, and I think she's gotten to a part in her career where she like can read, like any match she has is good, and just see her be able to tell a story. And just like anything she does is really good. I don't remember the last time I saw her. I want to say it was like around 2020.
Right.
She was driving. I was at the PC for NXT, and she was driving by, and I saw her in her car, and my dad was like, "That's Bayley," and I was like, "That's cool." And she stopped and got out, and like we had like a whole like 30-minute conversation, and it was
awesome.
It was just really cool, because I was like, wow, it was like my childhood hero, like here she is. And then I never really tell this story, but I think I should more, because it's just it means a lot to me personally. I'm not trying to flaunt it in any way, but it's like a really cool defining moment for me. So also, like, I think in 2020 she messaged me on Twitter, and she was like, hey, I want to send you something. It took a couple months, but she actually sent me the gear that she wore when we went in the ring together.
Right.
It's like silver, blue, and yellow.
Yep.
And I was like, I'm not gonna lie, I tried it on because there's a reason, not a weird reason. The main reason is because when I was planning out my gear for when I was becoming Izzy Moreno, I kind of wanted a good layout of how I wanted my gear. And I always saw her gear, and I was like, okay, I like that because I don't have to worry about anything when I'm in the ring. I just want to be comfortable. Like, I want it to be kid-friendly, too.
Right.
It just makes sense for Izzy Moreno.
Right.
So I literally had to give that gear to my gear makers for a couple months so they can like cut like around like my fabric for
Right,
that. It's
right.
still in her gear. Her
Right.
gear is still intact. So I was like, I have such attachment issues. So I was like, oh my God. I was like, please take care of it. And they're like, we will. But yeah, but no, as of right now, like it's not like I can call her, but I'm always supporting from
Right.
afar. I know she's like commented. I know she commented during Mania about me. Somebody like asked her like, oh, there's a couple fans that have become wrestlers, like this person, and they mentioned me, and that I literally saw the clip and I like sobbed uncontrollably. I was like, oh my God. I was like, stop it. So
God, that was such a special time in NXT. I don't think it'll
Take me
ever
back.
be. It'll never be recreated. Not just your relationship with Bayley,
yeah.
but just the relationship that the fans had with the workers
oh,
at
it
that
was
time.
insane. Yeah.
They'll never recapture that.
Yeah.
You know, for better or for worse, it'll just never be the same.
No.
Moving on past Bayley, because obviously Bayley is an inspiration of yours, gear wise. You know, excuse me. Who else inspires you, even right now? You know, as far as the wrestling business goes.
There is a lot of people, actually, I would say, and this is one that I feel like whenever somebody asks me this question, I'm like, oh, I don't know how to answer, but now I do for sure. So it's actually Sami Zayn when he was in NXT, and I know it's kind of like a wild one, but when he was in NXT, he was such a good babyface.
Yes.
He was really good, and not that he isn't now. He's great. Anything he does is good, but him, the way he sells, his connection with the crowd, I remember being super invested in him.
Yep.
So I try to look at myself as like the female Sami Zayn. So even last year when I was at WrestleCade for my Tiffany Nieves match, somebody was like, watch Sami Zayn. He was like, because you're literally the female Sami Zayn. And I like, after my match at WrestleCade last year, I had an upcoming match against Kylan King, and she's much taller. And so I watched the way Sami would sell for certain wrestlers. And he does this thing where he like crumbles. And I was like, I love that. And I was like, I feel like I can do that. And there's no way I can master it to his level, but I like to think that I've gotten good at it. So like, I'm always like, even when I'm at practice, I'm just by myself. I like to just literally like pretend I took something and then I like crumble. So it's Sami Zayn I like adore, and I love watching his stuff.
You know, now that you say that, I can see that for sure.
Yeah.
For sure in your repertoire. You know, you have that distinction of the fact that you came up, you were a super fan, you know, during an era that NXT had a lot of eyeballs on it. But unfortunately, with the eyeballs and all the praise and the "We Love Izzy" comes the trolls.
Yes.
How do you deal with, because it's jealousy, 99.9% of it is, oh, I wish I could be in that position.
Yeah.
How do you deal with people that just, they don't want to say anything positive, it's just negative, 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 especially in social media age.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that?
For me, it was hard at first because I first got it. I mean, I always kind of got it when people saw me front row
Right.
at NXT. But I think I saw it when I was 10 because I had my first match when I was 10. And so I saw it like a lot. And I wasn't even really on social media at that time.
Right.
My parents were running my account because I wasn't old enough to have like my own account.
Yeah.
But, like, I think for me, it was really hard to see, like, some of, like, my favorite wrestlers who I would watch on TV, or even people who I trained with, like, who prepared me for that match. Like, they had stuff to say. So I think, like, that kind of set me up for the stuff that I would face, like, a couple years later. Because I think some of the backlash that I've received over the past couple of years has been much worse than when I was 10.
Right.
So, in a way, it did set me up, but kind of didn't because I wasn't expecting, because this is when I got it again, I was really on social media, so it's so easy to freaking vanity search yourself and be like, whoa, the entire social media fan base hates me. But I've been so lucky to experience that and just kind of deflect it in a way. I have such a great support system behind me from my parents, who will literally do anything for me. They'll fight for me, basically.
They will. Don't play. Don't play.
Yeah.
Cody does not mess around. Y'all don't want to smoke.
No, they don't. They'll do anything for me, and even just my mom, too. So I have a really good support system, and I just make sure that I put measures in place to make sure I'm not always on social media.
Right.
But yeah, like I would find myself sometimes like vanity searching myself, and I would go into like a spiral. I'm like, I hate myself.
Yeah.
But now, like we reject that, we throw that away, and we just we do better. So
yeah,
I'm in a better place with it because even I'll get it sometimes, and it honestly just makes me giggle. Like really, really, like it just makes me giggle.
I love that, and I want to give a shout out to your parents, honestly, too,
Yes.
because it's even as a parent, I am a father, so I know how it is. Like, when you're getting, excuse me,
No, you're good.
when you're getting the hate, that's one thing.
Yeah.
When your daughter's getting the hate and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
My hat's off to those two. It's like you said, they've always been there for you as a support system, and it's easy to see that from the outside. So I just want to make sure we tip the hat to them.
Thanks, Mom and Dad.
Thanks, Mom and Dad. We appreciate you. To kind of bring this thing home, I like to ask everybody the same two questions.
Yes.
What are you a fan of? Because this is the fans' view. What are you a fan of outside of the ring when you're not, wrestling with Bluey and bubble gums?
I have a lot of surprising hobbies, honestly. So I think a lot of people know this. I'm a huge Swiftie, like ginormous Swiftie.
Small piece of your personality.
Yeah,
maybe.
like literally everything I do, I try to make it Taylor Swift related. Anything I do, I'm like Taylor Swift. I'm like, how is this connected to Taylor Swift? I'm also I'm a big sports fan, so I'm a huge Washington Commanders fan, Yankees fan, Tampa Bay Lightning fan. So I love watching sports. My Sundays are my days to veg out on the couch and just watch football.
Love it.
Outside of like all of that, because I feel like that's its own little realm, I love to read. I actually play piano. Which goes back to Taylor Swift. I only play piano because I want to play Taylor Swift songs, and it's like such a cathartic experience when I'm like going through something and I'm playing like All Too Well on the piano. I'm just saying.
I love it.
And then I don't. My parents are gonna laugh at me for saying this, but I love to color. You don't understand. I know. I'm like this total like cool person in the ring, like killer in the ring.
I love that.
But I love to color with all my heart. And people are going to see this and going to be like, oh, God, Izzy's insane. I love to color so much. It's so relaxing. Like,
this is
nobody
a TikTok
understands.
clip. This is a TikTok clip.
This really is. I freaking love to color.
I love that.
And it was because of TikTok. I got a bunch of coloring TikToks on my For You page, and I was like, I need to be a part of this in some way. So, yeah, I love to color. Yeah, so
Izzy,
I think those are my main ones.
Do not ever change.
No,
don't ever change.
And I would say, the other thing, I make friendship bracelets, but that's pretty connected to pro wrestling.
Yeah.
But I would say friendship bracelets.
That's pretty. It's good to have your hobbies away from the ring.
Yes.
'Cause
also, going to Disney. That's another one. I love.
That's just the Florida girl.
That's the Florida.
That's
girl.
the Florida girl. And
Disney. I love going to Disney.
We forgive you for that. And the last question I have to ask everyone. And you're going to have a unique perspective because you are so young in life and in the business. Yeah. What does the term success mean to you?
Like, do you mean in like a...
However you take it.
Oh, shoot. Success? That's so... God, I hate that question, but I also love it. Because I feel like there's like a wrong answer, but I think it's kind of... It's different for everyone. I think for me... I would say connecting with the fans, I would say is when I'm like, wow, I'm successful. I think honestly, because I'm such a hard person on myself, so I think excelling in any way, whether it's in the ring, outside the ring, in my school, because I'm in college right now. So when I'm in college, if I'm getting good grades, that's when I'm successful. I think meeting the fans, like today at WrestleCade, I'm like, wow, I've succeeded in connecting with people and leaving an impact on them. And I think I know this is kind of more specific, but I think when I get signed somewhere, specifically WWE, when I'm 18, I would say that's when I'm like, okay, I'm successful.
Absolutely.
So yeah, there's a lot that it means a lot. I have different definitions for it, but I would say those are the main ones. And I think also being able to give back to my parents because they've sacrificed so much. So I always have like the envision of like, okay, I want to buy my parents a house one day. I want to be able to help them out in some way. So I'm lucky.
You couldn't have given a better answer.
Yes.
Izzy, you got a line for him, and I'm sure back at your table. I just want to thank you so much for taking the time
Thank you. I
out.
appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Take some time for the fans view, guys. Where can they get you on social media? Not
Yes.
the trolls. The trolls.
Not the
ignore
trolls.
this part.
Stay away.
But
No,
where
no,
can
no.
they get you on social media?
Yeah, so you can get me on X, Instagram, and TikTok. For X and Instagram, it's Izzy Mania, ITSIZZYMANIA, and then TikTok, it's just Izzy Mania.
And do you have like pro wrestling tees or anything that?
I do have pro wrestling tees. Just look up Izzy and you'll find me. And then my other shirt is on homage.com. They're an amazing brand, so you can find one of my t-shirts there too.
Awesome. Well, you heard it here, guys. Go give her some support. Give her some love. She deserves it. And don't forget, call your mom.
Yes.
If you haven't liked or subscribed,
You're going to be joking me.